Hi, Jesse. You sound enthusiastic and full of energy.
As usual.
Yeah, he had to wake up before 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and he really struggles with it.
I'm working on it. Okay, it's wintertime. I'm hibernating. This is my hibernation, my winter arc. I wake up, I put on scarves. I think about making soup, but don't actually make soup. I putter around the apartment while sipping coffee and calling friends from back home, and then stare at the window and hope that the white shit goes away soon. So,
well, I've got some exciting news for you. We're going to talk about the American Civil War and a little bit about a Canadian, not the new one, the old one.
I was just going to say it's a little on the fucking nose.
Another one unfolding in front of us. The one that happened a few hundred years ago, and a Canadian who served as a soldier. However, was a woman secretly disguised as a man in this battle.
I love those movies.
Those movies?
Those Disney movies.
Which Disney movies?
There's a whole bunch of them.
You're talking about Mulan. You mean the one, Mulan?
No, I think there's others. There's like,
Little Mermaid just pretended to have legs.
That's a man thing, Rhys. Having legs, okay?
Exactly. I think you're literally talking about Mulan.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Good. Well, that's what we're going to talk about.
I think it's pronounced Mulan, not Mulan, like a mustard. Like
Mulan.
Yeah, okay.
Like the city in Italy. Okay, play the music.
What makes Canada boring?
Have you ever seen the flag? It's a leaf.
£1 million to go to Canada.
Canada is boring. I was actually shocked. I mean, from all the countries they could choose from.
Do you like maple syrup?
No, I don't.
These Canadians ain't got a care in the world.
Get my country's name out of your fucking mouth.
I was like, oh, he's in Canada. All right. Okay, communist.
The country needs you. I'm Canadian.
But don't feel bad for Canada. Believe me, this is their strategy.
I'll tell you another thing. The beer sucks.
Don't run off to Canada. It's so boring there.
Hello and welcome to Canada's Boring. My name is Rhys Waters, and with me is the perpetually complaining Jesse Harley.
Fuck you. I am not.
Really? You're complaining about that you have to get up to go on holiday to a nice place?
I'm going to Cuba in 2 days.
Jesse, he's going against all of the travel advice from the Canadian government. He's going to Cuba. I've been to Cuba. It's a beautiful country with incredible people, amazing music. They'll sell you, when you're 14 years old, from my experience when I went, they'd sell you cigars and rum without any question too.
Well, I'll tell you all about that. Let's save that for the STD zone, the small talk dimension zone, for those of you who are unfamiliar. At the end of the episode. Yeah, I'm okay. Let's talk about the Civil War. That's currently. I mean, that happened.
No, the other one
years ago. The other one, yeah.
Civil War 1, not Civil War 2. So, and not the one with Iron Man and Captain America either, where they just argued over some rules or something. Anyway, so Canada was like a safe haven for escaped slaves. That was a.
Say that again. Sorry.
Canada was a safe haven for escaped slaves. You know, the Underground Railroad.
Oh, right. Yes,
during the Civil War.
Yeah.
And an estimated 50,000 Canadians went south to fight to help end slavery during the American Civil War.
Wow. That's awesome.
Which is a lot. And one of them was a young woman named Emma.
Emma. That's my friend's girlfriend's name. She'll be happy to hear that her name was in an episode. She won't listen.
Was she also born in 1841?
Yeah, she's very old.
Taxidermy girlfriend. Anyway, so born in 1841, baby Emma was had a difficult childhood. She had a very harsh father who was very uncompromising. And he believed that women and children basically should be totally submissive to him, and that he was the king of the house, so to speak.
He sounds super fun. Your lights are driving me crazy. I feel like I'm at a slow rave. Okay, just like the lights in Rhys's background are going from red to blue to purple to pink and back again, like within a second change of each one. And it's
I find it calming. I find it very calming. So anyway, so yeah, a bit of a dick. And he really wanted a healthy son. But his Emma's older brother was epileptic. And so basically he was pissed off at the world and his family because he wanted strong sons. He had one son who suffered from epilepsy and daughters, and not a nice household to grow up in. It doesn't sound like he was supportive and kind.
Right.
And she grew up in the rural settlement. I can't say this. Magaguadavick near Fredericton in New Brunswick.
Probably right, honestly. It sounds pretty good.
Let's assume I was correct for the first. I think it's probably an indigenous name, and that's probably why I think I've got more chance of pronouncing an indigenous name than a French one.
Yeah.
So she developed into an accomplished rider, a crack shot, and a strong swimmer. So she was like an all-rounder.
That's awesome.
If her dad wasn't like burdened by the pressures of societal gender, she would have been exactly what he was looking for.
Right.
So she was energetic and adventurous, and she sought physical challenges, and she would climb tall trees and buildings.
Right.
So it sounds like a nightmare, to be honest.
Sounds fun.
So when she was 9 years old, a peddler gave her a book about the adventures of Fanny Campbell, a teenage girl who disguised herself as a man and went sailing to find and free her sweetheart from the clutches of a ruthless band of pirates. Fanny's exploits basically inspired Emma's imagination. At 15, she was then facing an arranged marriage that she did not want.
Jesus, hold on. Arranged marriages happened in Canada?
Well, yeah, it was pretty normal for people to arrange.
Was it?
Like you think.
When was that normal, and when did that stop being normal?
Well, I guess in a thing. I don't think it was like everyone had it, but in like a very patriarchal society as it used to be like 100 years ago, I imagine that your father had a lot of say on who you were marrying.
I guess. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget, women couldn't vote 100 years ago. So if they can't vote, why should they be allowed to choose who they marry?
Right. Yeah, fair.
Yeah. So she ran away. Good on her.
Yeah.
And she went to live and work with a family friend making ladies' hats in the town of Salisbury. Bear in mind, she's only 15 at this stage. And she did so well.
You're being arranged to be married at 15. What the fuck?
I know.
Why was it like, what was that, just for dowry? Is that what that's called? Like
dowry? Is it?
Dowry.
I don't know. I don't know if that's just I don't know if that's what they would call it here. Or
Father was disappointed with having more daughters, so he marries them off for money. Is that?
He just wanted to get rid of his one less mouth to feed.
Right.
Especially because he was older as well. See that old man over there? He looks lonely. Do you want a mouth to feed so I don't have to? This disappointing daughter who doesn't have a dick and climbs buildings.
That's going to be the name of the title of the episode.
The disappointing daughter who didn't have a dick and climbed buildings.
Yeah.
It's almost as long as Lemony Snicket and the series.
Yeah.
So within a year, she did so well. She was co-owner of a millinery shop in Moncton. So she was like very industrious, hardworking, and driven. However, her father worked out where she was and demanded she come home. So she decided to disappear entirely and assumed a male identity.
All right. Do you have photos?
No, it was 1840s. She was poor.
Right. And photography wasn't really a thing back
Maybe
then.
there's photos of her in later life. But anyway.
I guess it was. Hold on. Photography was late 1700s, I think.
Yeah. But she sounded smart. There's some quotes from her.
No, 1826. I should know this. This should be a thing that I should just know at all times.
This is a quote from her. I think I was born into this world with some dormant antagonism towards men. My infant soul was impressed with a sense of my mother's endured wrongs, and I probably drew from her breast with my daily food my love of independence and my hatred of male tyranny.
She's well read, well spoken. That's
I know, it was great. She's
it's
very eloquent way of kind of explaining her feelings and like what drives her in life. Very poetic. So anyway, so she cut her hair. She tanned her face with stain. I don't know why that made her look more like a man to have a bit more of a tan. Maybe it was just to look different. She got a little
dirt on her face or anything.
She put on a man's suit and she strode out into the world as Frank Thompson. And she landed a job as a Bible salesman.
Okay.
So I imagine she started talking like this. Like, hello, would you like a Bible? So she moved to Connecticut, and her employer claimed that of all the Bible salesmen he'd hired over a period of 30 years, no one ever outsold Frank Thompson, aka Emma.
Wow. I wonder when that stopped being a thing.
Door-to-door Bible sales.
Yeah, for real. Like to the point where back in the mid 1800s, it was such a thriving business. They had a boss and multiple salespeople that ranked each other as to how well they did that week. Like that's,
I imagine
if I tried doing that today, even if I was the most Bible thumping Christian imaginable, I wouldn't sell one, not one in a month. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Even in the 90s, before internet, before the access of like free information and stuff like that.
It used to be encyclopedias. Do you remember people used to, because
we had a set.
Didn't have Google. If you were lucky, you had encyclopedias. You didn't have to go to the library, so you just had that big shelf of, A to D of all the information in the world.
We had a set growing up. Yeah, we never touched it. This was neat though. I had a friend who was in a fairly poor family at the time. They were very loving and caring, but they were very, very poor. And I'd go over and hang out with them all the time. And this blew my mind. We were watching TV. I think it was a rerun, and it was on VHS. They captured it or whatever. And someone said a word or a term or a place or something. And the parents were like, "Do you guys know what that means?" And they're like, "No." Okay, pause the show. And they paused it and like, go look it up. And they all got up from the couch and they went over to the encyclopedia.
It wasn't live TV. You couldn't pause it.
No, it was live TV. It was VHS. But they'd pause the show and they'd go over to the encyclopedia set on the wall and they'd take it out and they'd look it up right then and there. And I was like, that's fucking cool.
Well, that's like how and same with the dictionary as well. You didn't know a word, you get a dictionary out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
those were the days.
Those were the days.
Those nostalgic analog days.
They really were the days. They were, man, living in the 90s and the early 2000s was the best.
And nutty conspiracy theorists who warped the truth were like available at weird conventions and in books that weren't circulated widely rather than the front page of YouTube.
Right. Yeah.
Those were the days.
I genuinely miss the 90s and the early 2000s. It was a really good time.
I just remember everyone being smarter. I don't know why. I know that might be rose-tinted glasses, but only because you had to retain information a lot more.
Yeah, actually, that's interesting.
And because everyone generally agreed on what reality was, you could actually have a deep conversation with most people rather than worrying that you're going to step on a conversational landmine and end up in some kind of argument about which reality you've chosen versus the other person. That's what I miss.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, enough about my problems. Let's talk about the Civil War One. Anyway,
did you have Blockbuster in Wales?
We did.
Do you miss Blockbuster? Blockbuster.
Do you know what though? There was a better place. There was we would call it a garage, but it was a gas station, and they had one shelf of VHS tapes.
And that was better than Blockbuster?
because it was really cheap. So we'd go down there and we'd rent them. And I remember one time one of the VHSs was late and we really wanted to rent it. So we asked the woman like who worked there. We were like, we wanted that. She's like, oh, it's late. So she literally gave us their address and we paid her.
Fuck off.
And then we went to the house. So we knocked on the door. We went, your VHS, you didn't bring this movie back and we want to watch it. So we've come to get it. And they were like, okay. So
it's amazing.
It's like trust in small Welsh villages. So
I love that so
forget
much.
about data protection.
There was a shop in Halifax called Video Difference, and it was like a 3-story huge.
I've seen the sign for it.
Yeah, it's still there. The sign is still there, but it was this massive private video. They had 2 of them. One was in Halifax, and one was in Bedford, their sister city. And it was this huge place you could go that wasn't Blockbuster. And like the staff was knowledgeable about the films, and they would have staff picks. And it was just, you could rent out like box sets for TV shows. It was really, really cool. Cool. And then it was like one of the last things to die as far as video stores were concerned. And everyone was really sad. And they haven't really sold it. It's like, it's a place to buy merch for a local sports team now, but they kept the sign up, and sometimes
the Halifax Wanderers are there. Yeah.
And sometimes they turn the sign on, and I thought it would be really fun to turn it into either a cafe or a bar where they line the shelves with movies again, and they play movies in the back where like you could go have a coffee and sit in the back, and like just there's always a movie watching. I think that'd be really cool.
How come you come up with all these ideas for restaurants and food outlets, you never realize them? Anyway.
That's interesting. Maybe I should go back home and make that happen.
So anyway, in 1860, Emma made her way west to Flint, Michigan, where as Frank, she gained a reputation as an upstanding young fellow. And the Civil War broke out in 1861 on April the 12th, and she immediately volunteered to fight on the Union side.
Right. So,
however, she failed the physical because she was 5'6", and was turned away for being too short. However, as Lincoln called for 75,000 troops, the standard was lowered, so they allowed short people in because they needed the numbers. Similar to what's happening in Russia, where they're emptying prisons and giving them guns to fight in Ukraine.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's kind of cool, though. I gotta say.
So the physical for fighting consisted of a few questions and the demonstration of a firm handshake.
So you could go to other countries and join in their wars. I suppose, could you just do that today? Could you?
Well, people didn't have passports or papers as much then. I think you could just move.
Oh, yeah, right.
It was fine. Okay. Yeah.
So how did she get in?
She demonstrated a firm handshake and she got into the military.
I thought that was being.
No, that was it. Like, that's what the article said.
I thought that was like being facetious. Like,
no,
you're dead serious.
Apparently, that's it. You just
okay.
So you haven't got like one of those limp handshakes. You're fine. So like most rural women of her time, Emma was physically strong. And she was used to the outdoors. So, and a lot of the fellow recruits around her were from the city. So she was like already handy with firearms and horses as well. So she already had an advantage to the city boys around her.
Right.
And it was a lot of young men in loose fitting uniforms. So when she was there as like Private Frank Thompson, she fitted in perfectly, didn't really bat an eyelid. And also because it was a time where people were modest about showing their body to each other, it meant that nobody ever like saw, there was no expectation of like being seen without her clothes on by anybody else. So she could keep the facade going.
Interesting. All right.
Don't run off to Canada. It's so boring there.
Patreon.com/Canada is boring. Canada's coolest club. Premium fun, privileged access to secret content, a chat app with the hosts, hours of fun for everyone, the promise of eternal life.
Patreon.com/Canada is boring.
I wonder how many people actually knew. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Just didn't say anything. Like,
there's a really funny episode of Blackadder where there's I don't know if you know Blackadder. You know Rowan Atkinson.
I've heard of it. Yeah,
it's set in different. It's the same characters, but they're in different periods of British history.
Oh, okay, that makes much more sense than from what little snippets I've seen. Okay,
and there's an episode where Rowan Atkinson's character Edmund Blackadder has there's a woman masquerade disguised as a boy, and she's called herself Bob, and he fully falls for the facade that it's a boy, but he starts to feel attracted. So he's conflicted about whether he's gay or not. Because he's like, why am I falling in love with this beautiful boy? Not realizing that Bob is a woman. So they basically did a whole send up of like this kind of like the Mulan trope, we should call it. Except
that's very funny.
This is a real story. Basically, she would also not go to the toilet in the open trenches that they would shit in. She essentially would go over to the freshwater streams or the woods nearby, so that so they couldn't see. She couldn't piss standing up.
Right.
She needed a shiwi. I don't know if you've seen those. There's like a funnel that goes on the front. Anyway. So when training was complete, she was assigned duty as a male nurse and a postman for a brigade. Basically, on July the 15th, 1861, they were sent to Bull Run, a stream near the Vital Railhead in Manassas Junction in Virginia, where there were Confederate troops. And she was basically forced into the realities of war. She was standing shoulder to shoulder with the blue ranks, and as artillery flew through them as they stood next to each other, slicing people apart.
Jesus.
And basically blowing up around them, tossing body parts and everything all over them. So it was a really kind of like horrible, vicious battle.
You couldn't fucking wait to describe that segment. You couldn't wait. Just the grin on your face, man. Just
it makes history come alive. It makes history. If you can describe vividly somebody's spleen bouncing off your forehead as you stand in a muddy field, it makes history come alive, Jesse.
Rhys, for those who don't know,
prove me wrong.
Rhys is a polite Welshman who loves gore and violence.
Historic gore and violence, not contemporary. Got no interest in that. We can't change the stuff in the past, so it's fine. Anyway, however, the Union Army, that battle was a total disaster for them, and they ended up having to retreat, and they had to turn basically a stone church into a field hospital. It was horrible. There were lots of injuries, lots of dead people. And she wrote, she'd gone to war with no other ambition than to nurse the sick and care for the wounded. I'd inherited from my mother a rare gift of nursing. When not too weary or exhausted, there was a magnetic power in my hands to soothe the delirium. So she was a soldier through the Virginia campaigns, across lots of battles that were very, very bloody, but eventually a new job opportunity came up. A Union agent was hung for spying, so she volunteered to take his place.
Okay.
So she was interviewed by a panel of high-ranking officers for the dangerous work. And these are supposed to be people who are like, we're like the top spies in the Union Army. None of them worked out that she was in fact a woman.
That's kind of ironic.
I don't know whether it's a compliment to her skills or like a throwing shade on their
right
spying their powers of observation. So anyway, she shaved her head, again blackened her skin with silver nitrate, and donned a plantation suit and a curly black wig, and basically joined the Confederate camp as a slave, a disguised slave.
Interesting. All right.
Don't know why they couldn't have got someone who's African American to do this.
Skills, man. You got to have someone who's a spy. Apparently.
So, but again, she pulled that off. It sounds like she would look ridiculous, but she actually pulled it off. I don't think wig technology. I don't know what wig technology was like back in the day.
Now she went in as a slave.
She went into the Confederate camp, the enemy camp. She infiltrated it, disguised as a slave,
not as a
soldier.
Not as a soldier. So here's my question: did she? So she went in blackface. Did she also dress as a man, or did she go as a?
Yes, she was a male black laborer. Was her disguise.
Interesting. Okay.
So she started working hauling wheelbarrows of gravel to build a wall. And it was like kind of very, very like hot, sweaty work. And the silver nitrate on her skin started to fade.
Oh, no.
So she was starting to kind of lose her disguise, but also her wrists and hands were starting to get blistered. And she convinced another slave to switch jobs. So she switched jobs and she moved around the camp as a water bearer. Basically, I think the thing of going in as a slave would allow her to be totally unnoticed,
right?
And she could then observe and pay a lot of detailed attention to what was going on. So she was listening, she was kind of watching, she was taking notes, and she even made rough sketches of the enemy fortifications. On the night of the third day of her undercover mission, she was handed a musket and told to go on the battle lines. So essentially they armed the slaves to take part in the battle then. After they'd done days and days of back-breaking work, they were like, there we go, now here's a gun. You can do another job too.
I was wondering about that. Your slave owners hand you guns and then tell you to go fight for them who want to keep you as slaves. That didn't go poorly? Like,
well, there's plenty of cases where it did. It's just, okay. But at the same time, like if you have family like hundreds of miles away, if your wife and kids are, owned by somebody hundreds of miles away, and you're on a battlefield supporting them, and you do something like that, you do mutiny, you don't know what the consequences could be for your family.
That's interesting.
So as much as like it, I imagine there were people who were tempted, and I imagine there are people who acted on it at the same time. It's very complex.
Okay, that's fair.
So she basically then decided to escape at this point and returned back to her own headquarters and basically told them everything she'd learned about the enemy.
Okay.
Which is pretty badass.
Yeah. Amazing. She was able to infiltrate and escape at will.
Yeah, exactly. On other occasions, she slipped across enemy lines as an Irish immigrant, as a black female slave. So she was a woman pretending to be a man, pretending to be a black woman. And an Irish woman.
Hold on. Sorry. Say this again. She did what?
So the Union Army thought she was a man, but she was a woman. But she went in disguise as an Irish woman and a black female slave on two occasions.
So hold on. You're saying that the military said, hey, you'd probably disguise yourself as a woman pretty well. You've got feminine features. Why don't you go into undercover as a woman?
She's like, great idea. I can do that. And then she was, yeah.
Are you serious? So she was a woman undercover as a man who was then told to go undercover as a woman?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Like, wow, you were pulling that off really, really well.
It's like
it was a great idea we had to get you to do that. Holy shit.
It's like Robin Williams struggled in Mrs. Doubtfire, but this is taking it to a whole new level. Anyway. So at one point she ended up cooking in the Confederate headquarters disguised as a chef as well.
Okay. Wow.
Within watching distance of the Confederate commander General Robert E. Lee, and then she was at the Battle of Antietam. Don't know, Battle of Antietam. Might be pronouncing it wrong. She came across.
How do you spell it?
Antietam. Antietam.
I don't know that one.
I don't know that one either. So she came across a young soldier who was severely wounded in the neck and near death. And she gave him comfort. And that soldier confided that he was actually a she. And enlisted as a man to be near her only brother.
Fuck off.
Killed that thing.
What?
And she...
What? Are you serious?
Apparently.
What?
What are the chances? And
nuts.
so to keep her from being discovered, she buried her nearby without coffin or shroud, only a blanket for the winding sheet. I don't know what that means, but just
that means
throw her in a hole.
Sounds poetic. Well, until you said that. Yeah.
So she then went in 1863. She was transferred to Louisville, Kentucky, disguised as a young Kentucky lad. She went spying again. Arriving at an outlying village, she found a wedding in progress. And the bridegroom was the captain of the rebel cavalry on the lookout for recruits. So stopping to ask for a bite to eat, Emma was noticed by the captain and found herself conscripted into a unit of mounted rebel troops. She was outfitted as a Confederate trooper and rode out to engage the Yankees. So essentially, she was forced to fight even though she was a spy, she wasn't where she was hoping to spy, and she was now being forced to fight against the army that she was working for.
That's amazing.
But she had to go along with it. Once the fighting broke out, her horse freaked out, and she used that to make it look like the horse was bolting her across Union lines during the battle.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, my horse is freaking out. Oh no, look, he's running over there.
And then, so she crossed the
lines. And once she got there, somebody recognized her and protected her.
Cool.
Incredibly lucky.
Amazing. Yeah.
But she had one more job to do. She was sent to break up a Confederate spy ring operating out of the Union-occupied Louisville, passing herself off as Charles Maybury. She got herself a menial job of a merchant with rabidly outspoken Southern views.
Okay.
So over a number of weeks, she gained the merchant's trust and feigned an interest in enlisting in the Confederate service. And the merchant introduced her to a Confederate agent, who in turn told her about a spy who was selling supplies to Union soldiers, and a second Southern agent who came and went as a photographer selling pictures to Union generals. So essentially, she infiltrated the spy network of Confederate spies. They put out a business in 1863, and then she got malaria. After all that. However, she was unable to admit herself to the hospital because she was for fear of being betrayed, that people would find out her true sex.
Right. So what she did? She die?
No, she traveled to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and she put on a dress and checked into a hospital.
Wow. Okay.
And then she snuck back to her unit a few weeks later when she'd recovered.
Oh my God, she's dedicated.
I know. However, she then saw a poster saying that Frank Thompson, who she was listed as a deserter, which was punishable by death.
Who was Frank Thompson? Was that on the conservative side? Not conservative.
Frank Thompson was that was her Union soldier kind of act that she did.
So from the beginning.
Yeah, when she first dressed up as a man, she called herself Frank Thompson was the Bible salesman.
So why was he considered a deserter?
Because she escaped to Pittsburgh to go and get treatment for malaria.
Oh, okay. I got you. Right.
It's like the bit in the restaurant with in Mrs. Doubtfire where it all comes apart, and he sits down drinking.
The second time you've mentioned Mrs. Doubtfire in this episode, you really like this movie.
It's very similar.
It's very similar.
It's a classic movie.
All the points of this historic battle are very, very similar to Mrs. Doubtfire's plot.
My cultural touch point. So. So she was homesick, so she returned to Canada, and also to avoid being executed.
Right.
Accompanied by Linus Seeley, a fellow.
I love the fact that Emma Thompson / Frank who?
Frank Thompson.
Frank Thompson was such a loyal, dedicated soldier, would go undercover multiple instances into enemy line to gather information, go back, continue to fight for your side over and over and over and over and over again, suddenly gets sick and disappears. No one asks, is Frank okay? No. Immediately, let's get an artist and put up a poster and have this person executed for like abandoning his post. What the fuck? Come on, man. I hope Frank's okay. No, that fucking traitor. That's where they went to instantly.
He left us here in the mud with the blood and the guts.
Jesus Christ.
So she returned to Canada to avoid death, and she was accompanied by Linus Seeley, a fellow New Brunswicker who she'd met and fallen in love with. She and Linus were married in 1867, and they raised 3 sons, one who enlisted in the U.S. Army, just like Mama did.
Wow.
By special act of Congress passed on July the 5th.
What year was that?
1867.
Okay.
1884, Emma Edmonds was granted an honorable discharge from the United States Army for her sacrifice in the line of duty, her splendid record as a soldier, her unblemished character, and disabilities incurred in the service. She also received a modest cash bonus and a veteran's pension of $12 a month.
Probably a lot back in 1960.
It's like $1 million a week back then. Yeah.
Right. Let's see how much is.
Yeah, you could have bought an Xbox and a PS5 for that back then.
In 1867. Let's see how much that's worth today. It's worth about $262 today.
A month. Look at that. Wouldn't even cover my property tax. Anyway. So, after residing in various U.S. states, Emma and Linus finally settled in LaPorte, Texas. And she was accepted as a full member of the Grand Army of the Republic.
So hold on, wait, sorry, I need to point this out. She left the States, went back to Canada.
Yeah.
Fell in love with a guy.
Eventually they moved back to the US.
Fell in love with a guy from New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Had kids, and they're like, fuck this. There's no fucking way we're living in New Brunswick. We're going back to
I'd rather go to America and risk execution.
Yeah.
but the Civil War was over at this point. But she was accepted as a full member of the Grand Army of the Republic, the Union Army Veterans Organization, and she's the only woman to ever have been honored. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
cool.
So, there we go.
I like it. Cool story.
The life of Emma Edmonds.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'd be more enthusiastic if I wasn't so tired. I think I need some coffee in me.
Should we do a small talk dimension?
Let's do a small talk dimension.
You are now entering the STD zone. Incoming STD. Loading small talk. Enhancing anecdotes. Dick jokes processing. You have reached the small talk dimension zone.
We had 2 snowstorms here, but I wanted to share an observation I made. I realized that I've been, listening to a lot of podcasts and watching a lot of like news and stuff. I've got back into watching the news more after having a break as much as I could last year. It was overwhelming me a bit. But
I stopped watching the news for years, and then only recently, because of the looming civil war beneath us, I thought it'd be interesting to kind of start watching it again. And within a week, I'm finding myself depressed, and I'm just not actually depressed. But like, it's depressing is what I'm saying. It's like incredibly depressing to watch the news, even just for a little bit. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm good, man.
I made an observation that it's really funny. Whenever Donald Trump has a conversation or sends an email or writes a letter, he has to rank that conversation.
Well, so that's interesting.
He'll be like, I met with X leader of the country X, and we had a great conversation. It was one of the greatest conversations that's ever been had. It was a fantastic conversation. He doesn't talk about what happened in the conversation. He talks about how he's rated the conversation. And the same, I wrote the perfect letter we received. I sent it. It was the perfect letter. It was great. It's a very weird thing he does where
it's very strange. Yeah. Everything.
This conversation was terrible. It was awful for everyone. It's a really weird thing to but
he only lives on like 0 or 100 of things being good or bad. Like, it's
but also
the best or the worst.
The need to publicly rank every conversation, email, and letter that you get.
It's very strange.
It's got to be exhausting. Jesse, I sent the best text message yesterday. It was fantastic. What did you say? No fucking idea. Can't remember. I just remember going, this is it.
The best.
I've peaked.
I don't know if I mentioned this on our show before. I might have. I'd be surprised if I hadn't. But
is it another restaurant idea?
No. I've been talking to my friend Ryan about this because people have been trying to figure out Trump forever. And I think I know what he's doing. And you can kind of look back at everything he's said over the past number of years, and I think it applies. I think it's like really, really simple. You and I have talked about this. He's doing what's called in business, in advertising, A/B testing. In advertising, when you're advertising your company, when you advertise your company, you'll make like 6-10 different, Instagram reels, TikTok reels for your ad for your company, or put it out in magazines or television or wherever. You just kind of spread, put it out there. But you've got like 6 different ads. And as a company, you don't really know which one is going to do well or why. You just kind of spray the ads out there. And then you wait a couple weeks. And then one of those 6 ads does really, really well. And you don't know why. And you don't really need to know why. You just pull down all the other 5 because they're not doing as well and you don't need them. And then you put the rest of your advertising budget just backing that one ad that has done really well for the past 6 weeks. That's A/B testing. You just kind of put it out there and see what works and then just back that one, whatever one works. That's what Trump's been doing. He's a fucking narcissist. He's a sociopath. He loves attention. He will go on Truth Social or X or wherever, or news, outlets, and he'll just say a bunch of shit. He just says a bunch of weird shit every fucking day. He just says weird shit, and then he waits. And whatever gets the most attention, he ignores everything else he said, and he just doubles down on that for the next week or 2 or 3 or more, however long it takes for him to get squeeze all the attention out of it. And then when that's done, he just A/B tests again. He just starts saying weird fucking shit until the world reacts to one of them. And then he doubles down.
Well, I agree with you, but also there's another game going on. Did you see his peace board? Countries can join the Donald Trump peace board.
No.
It's supposed to be his version of the UN, where by invite, because he invited Mark Carney and then he uninvited Mark Carney. But essentially, and the article I was reading basically said that it costs $1 billion to be on the Trump peace board.
Oh my God.
So the country has to, but when people looked at the detail of it, the payment is not to the United States of America. The payment is to Donald Trump, the individual.
Amazing. Yeah, of course.
And he can basically kick you out for any reason he wants from the peace board, and you can only get in there by invite only. So
it's
basically,
like a weird treehouse club where he's the president. And
but it's genius because like a couple of countries I think Hungary signed up. There's a few countries that have signed up for it, so they're going to pay him.
They've actually signed up for this shit.
Yeah, they're going to pay him personally $1 billion. Not America. Him.
Hold on. Who said that they signed up? Did he say they signed up?
No, they did a press conference, like him and like 3 or 4 little toadies.
Unreal.
Yeah. So thanks for listening, everyone. Find us on YouTube. Find our Patreon.
I'd like to thank everyone who wrote in for our speak pipes for our 500th episode.
It was great.
Really fun. It was nice. Rhys put together that whole episode. I listened to it and it was amazing. He sent it to me in advance, and
Jesse didn't bother listening.
I didn't know why. I was just
listening to it after it went out.
I did, but like I didn't know why he bothered sending it to me in advance. But like now I know. You really fucking kicked ass with that edit, man. That was amazing. That
was about like 10% of our speak pipes, and also 500 episodes to pull content from. So it was a bit of a project.
It was really cool too. It was very well done. But Rhys did a thing where like I begged everyone and bugged and swore at people to for the love of God, just get off their ass and leave a speak pipe, and all they have to do is click the link. And I was like, Rhys is 100% gonna leave the link to the speak pipe, and he never did. He never left a link. Never. There was nothing. And I'm yelling at you guys, you poor fucks, to leave a speak pipe with no address. I didn't tell you where to go. I just told you to click the link that didn't exist.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, some people worked it out. So
yeah. It's amazingly.
be mean, keep them keen, you know.
But we're very appreciative of all the love.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Let's do another 500 more if Rhys and I aren't fucking sick of each other by then.
See you all next week.
Okay, bye, everybody.
A place that's exciting with kryptonite. You may fall asleep with no warning because Canada